Hello everyone, Koji from Celestial Rhythms. So much is going on, it's hard to keep up with it on all levels, astrologically as well. So I thought I should do a couple quick updates here and to fill you in on what's going on here in the greater cosmos up in the sky. So the big one we just experienced was the Neptune-Lunar Node square. That is that Neptune was exactly T-squaring the lunar nodes 2 days ago on the 26th. Now this is a long-lasting aspect. This has been building up for months on end and is still active for quite a few months into the future. So what is the general signature of Neptune and the nodes? It is confusion and deception and smoke screens and all kinds of double messages, wrong messages, whatever. It's kind of that scenario we're in the midst of a war, an information war, and that's kind of the pinnacle of that whole wave we are within. So it's always that's the interesting part of drawing charts for those moments when aspects are most exact. That kind of is the essence of how we experience that energy. Interesting that in Greenwich for the global chart, and those of you who haven't really read that, I wrote a little article a few weeks ago why Greenwich is such an outstanding place on our planet, why it works to draw charts for Greenwich which have global significance. Well, in short, in a nutshell, it's the zero meridian dividing Earth in two hemispheres. The eastern and the western is an artificial kind of segmentation, but nevertheless, like numerology and many other things, another big example is the constellations in the sky. These are all man-made principles, however they work as it's a collective agreement. And then on top of that, Greenwich is 1/7 of a circle away from the equator, which is a particular frequency. The 7, if you divide a whole unit by 7, you get what's called an irrational fraction, a number with infinite numbers of digits after the comma, which kind of is that connection to the infinite, to the greater cosmos. So the 7 is a very special number. In that sense, it's the only one of the single digits which produces irrational numbers. So for that reason alone, Greenwich is a power place, and no surprise that is London. I mean, London is just a few miles away, has been chosen as one of the 3 power centers on our planet. Anyway, the long and short, if we draw charts for Greenwich, we get an interesting message of how these energies are expressing globally. So with the moon here at the ascendant in Cancer, in its own sign, that means that these Neptunian energies definitely are affecting everyone on a deeply emotional or mood-related level. Naturally, if we get information which is not accurate, it throws us off. It generates all these illusions of wishes and hopes and fears and whatnot. A very Cancerian energy that sure is. with Pisces at midheaven, even more so the water signs. Neptune very prominently up in the 10th house, together with Ceres, the asteroid of nourishment, nurturing. So yeah, we are getting plenty of that food naturally. We're getting stuffed really by all these informations, be they true or not. So in a way, we could also say that all that extreme Neptunian energy is here to make everyone aware that you can't really trust any information anymore, and it is opening the curtains to do one's own research, I could say. It's kind of pushing us to become more discerning. So anyway, I found this really interesting, that also Okiroi up here, Okiroi is a centaur and always shows up as an amplifying energy, enlarging, making something more prominent, important. So if we now go to the same moment in time as experienced in the American nation's capital in Washington, D.C., you see again Neptune very prominently placed at the ascendant. So no question, the American nation, the American public is most subjected to that information war which is going on, which had its high point 2 days ago. We are now slowly on our way out. So this is a very important realization, so to say, that it will get less and less from now on. Speaking, clarity starts setting in, the fogs are slowly to become transparent, breaking down, dissolving. However, this is again a slow process. It will take quite a few weeks for the lunar node to move out of that zone. So Pisces rising, and if you follow the American chart as I do, let's just quickly go back here. I show you that's the American chart for July 4th, 1776, which really brings great results all the time, allows us to give predictions and forecasts. And the secondary progressed chart for the American nation has the sun at 16 degrees Pisces here in that big stellium with Pallas, Sedna and the sun. I talked about that in an earlier video, and I will definitely come back to that, as this is a very important chart. That's kind of the, you could say, the temporary state of the nation is very well depicted in this chart. With Uranus up here high, yes, certainly we are in revolutionary times, and this will just get more so over the next couple years. Big renewal coming. Interesting, this conjunction of Pallas, Sedna and the sun. I talked about that earlier, just quickly reminding you, or those who haven't heard it. This is in a nutshell what we have been experiencing worldwide. The American nation again is kind of the leading edge of that whole thing. Sedna absolutely connected to that whole closing down of the society and of economies. that whole being locked in and limited in our actions, deprived of contact, all those things. Palace here is opening another aspect of Sedna. Sedna also about secrets and mysteries, and Palace is bringing all these things out of the closet into the collective consciousness, disclosure of all kinds of unknown, dark, difficult themes which have been hidden in the deep cosmos, if you want. Sedna bringing it back home, Sedna coming back from a over 11,000 year orbit around the sun. So Sedna is a deep space traveler connected to alien worlds and to the underground, rules the deep oceans, named after an Inuit goddess. Sedna, also interesting if you spell it out, S-E-D-N-A, so you have DNA there in the name, which links to something very archetypal, a memory bank if you want. So on that note, Nessus by progression is activated here at the Descendant. I spoke about it earlier, and I kind of hoped this would be done with earlier, but I mean, astrology again never lies. So this only will be exact in about 7 weeks to a few months time, as the natal Nessus is at 9 degrees Pisces, so that's still another 4 months going. So we are still in critical territory, Nessus again. Those of you who are not familiar with that energy, is the pathological energies we're dealing with. We're battling with the deep state and all their minions, trying to cheat, deceive, and whatever not, hold on to their illegal powers. So this is being fully exposed at the 7th house cusp and dealt with. And also I want to highlight once more Orcus here. Orcus, which is about alchemy and ritual. So the same energy we have in the American chart here. Orcus at 9 degrees, Virgo, Pisces, 9 degree is Nessus. So this is a basic ingredient the American nation has been given to deal with and to resolve. And as things are, these planets are back in the same place they were 244 years ago. Nessus has done 2 orbits since, Orcus exactly 1. That's the exact resonance of these planets. So it is interesting that this is coming into the ascendant axis, descendant axis of the progressions, which is another really strong proof for that particular chart we are using here for the American nation, with 13 degrees Sagittarius rising, which happens to be the great attractor, which in itself is one of the most powerful points in the zodiac, as all the galaxies in our close neighborhood are moving in this direction of about 14 degrees Sagittarius. So it kind of explains the central importance of the United States, which definitely is very obvious if you look at the 2.5 centuries of history since its inception. And that is just the direction we're moving into. Still more so, the American nation is the leading edge of evolution. So that is this, and I leave it at that, and will continue with a second take. Thank you so much for joining and listening again. And if you liked what you heard, give it a like or subscribe, or even share it if you know people who would appreciate that. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye bye.